Hey, everybody. Thank you for allowing me to interrupt your usual newsletter content with a little video today. I was trying to describe something to Luke on the show today, and I felt like my words were not enough. They were both too much and not enough at the same time. And so I thought we could maybe use a little magic of motion picture to illustrate what I was talking about. And what I was talking about was artificial intelligence. Obviously, a lot of people have been talking about AI lately, and we've been playing around with it on the show, and listeners have been submitting some AI creations, but it's always been just sort of a fun little toy to mess around with. For the most part, as far as I know, artificial intelligence has not had a lot of practical uses in my life, unless it's like running in the background of some app and I don't know it. That is to say, until recently, when I opened up Photoshop, obviously the photo editing program that everybody has heard of, and I've been using it for decades now. And they recently did an update, and they introduced a new feature that relies on artificial intelligence, and I find it absolutely fascinating. And so I want to show you what I was trying to describe to Luke on the show today. So here, take a look at my Photoshop screen here. As you can see, I have a photo, a lovely photo of Luke's adorable cat Bubbles perched high above the kitchen on the cupboards here. And Luke sent this to me today and said we should use this on the website for today's show picture for the podcast. And I said, great. Now, when we post photos on our website and into the podcast feed, they have to be square. And as you can see, this is not a square photo. So we're going to crop it. Cropping photos is one of the easiest things you can possibly do, both in a photo editor and in real life. You just decide, okay, I don't need any of this stuff over here to the left, so I will just crop it out. I mean, you could do that with scissors if you had a physical photo in your hands, right? That's cropping. Now, what if the opposite were to happen? So here's a square or square-ish photo that I took years and years ago when I was living in Los Angeles. Let's say that I needed this to be a rectangle for some reason. It needed to fit onto a website or something. You could draw out the sides here a little bit, but you're just going to end up with kind of black bars on the side of it, like when you're watching an old movie that's letterboxed. They do that so it'll fit your television better. Or if you were to make it tall like this, you could do it like that, but you're always going to end up with black bars because there's no way to take a photo and add to it. You can only cut away stuff until artificial intelligence came along. Photoshop has introduced this thing called generative expand, where it uses artificial intelligence to read what's in the photo and then guess at what would be on the sides of the photo if you were to expand it out. So let's do this again now using AI. I am using this photo on purpose because it's a very simple photo. Let's say we just need to expand it a little bit. The AI should be able to read all that blue background, the varying degrees of blue in it, and recreate it and probably extend out these power lines a little bit. Again, it should be a relatively easy task for the computers to handle. There you go. It's exactly what I thought it would look like. It extended the power lines out a little bit, and it just created that the gradients of blue in the background. This looks like a photo, even though I know it started as a square. I totally believe that this could have come out of my camera this way if I had been shooting in a different perspective. But this is where the curiosity got me. What if I continued to expand this image? We now know that everything on the left and the right is sort of made up by a computer. What if the computer continues to guess based on its own original guesses? So I'm going to pull this photo out a little bit more. We're going to hit generate, and we're going to see what it comes up with. Okay, now for some reason, you see that the computer thought, well, maybe I should add some more clouds down here and also a weird branch coming off of the sign here. That seems a little glitchy to me, but the clouds are, you can understand why the computer would say, hey, this is a photo of the sky. Let's add some clouds. Well, now that it has those clouds and that branch to work with, what if we expand it a little bit more? The computer will continue to make guesses now based on its own content. Okay, so we have some more clouds and a little bit more gibberish here. This isn't working quite as well as it has in the past for me. I've done this experiment on this exact sign many times, but let's just continue to generate further and further down. One thing that I've seen it do is create entire landscapes. Sometimes it puts this sign in the middle of a town somewhere. Sometimes it puts it in the middle of the wilderness somewhere based on what AI thinks is surrounding this sign. There you go. Now look. The artificial intelligence said, well, this sign must have a city in the background, and this is what that city looks like. The more you zoom in, you can tell that it's artificially created, that these are not real buildings. It's just sort of this pixelated landscape that the computer has created. You want to try it one more time? You want to zoom even further out on this thing that doesn't even really exist? Now we see even more of this made up town with my Liquor Mart sign smack dab in the center of the action. What I find the most interesting about this is I have started this process with the same exact photo many times. And each time, if I follow this exact routine of expanding it out little by little, time after time, it creates different surroundings. I'll show you. This is one of the earlier ones I came up with. You can see that it put it out in front of a lake, in front of the mountains somewhere. Same exact sign. I didn't do anything different. It's just that the computer guessed differently each time I loaded the sign up and tried to expand it out. Now, I don't know if that blows your mind as much as I said it would, but it does blow my mind. In fact, I want to start an art project, I think, where I take that exact photo and just run it through the AI mill time and time and time again and see all the different scenarios that Photoshop comes up for it. So, anyway, there it is. The first. Now, I would like to say here that isn't me stretching that AI to its extreme is not super practical, except for in a weird arty way, I suppose. But taking that original square photo of the sign with the blue sky and the power lines behind it, and just being able to stretch it out a little bit for my purposes, and for the computer to give me something that is totally usable, that doesn't have black bars on the side of it, is really incredible to me. So that's what I was trying to talk about on the show today. I don't know if that clears it up at all, and I don't know if it was interesting, but thanks for going along on this ride with me. Hope you all have a great weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday.